We've been praying for John MacArthur. He's been a faithful servant of the Lord for many years, bringing solid expository preaching, and we've been praying for him. He has had some heart issues. He has definitely had some health issues, and if you're not aware of those, I'd encourage you to go find out a little bit more about that after you watch this video. You can go and watch this video here. Actually, that is this video that we're talking about right now. You would want to go watch this video right here. This is on this channel, MacArthur Health Update. There you will get a detailed update, or at least the first update, saying, we want to continue to pray for John MacArthur and his health. You might also consider watching this, which is a further update given where John MacArthur discusses future preaching plans. I'll link these videos both below. Be another video that you could just consider because you're here and you like John MacArthur. This is Todd Starnes, a conservative talk show host, who's saying, leave your church now. If there was not a preaching about dealing with the specific incidents, the circumstance of the Trump assassination attempt, if a pastor did not preach on that the morning after, the very morning after, he's saying, leave your church now. And I definitely have my thoughts about that. I give them in that video, and then you'll hear from Steve Lawson, John MacArthur. It's definitely worth seeing if you have not seen it. Again, that will be linked below. And then here's Steve Lawson on the Trump assassination attempt. He did change his sermon, and he did address the issue, and it is all in that video. You'll see that below. But we're going to get to John MacArthur. Just one more thing, if you'll bear with me. Since you're here, would you consider going to this website here? I've got a gift for you. preachingforgodsglory.org/gift. You're here and you probably enjoy Bible teaching. So I've got a teaching for you from the book of Philippians. It is entitled 10 Lessons in Philippians. If you go there, just www.preachingforgodsglory.org/gift. You get that. It's completely free, no charge. So you will get that in your mailbox very soon. Just go there, fill out this form. You'll get a welcome newsletter, and then within a few days, you'll get this gift. I have to get it ready for you, but you will get that very soon. So go and do that. I'd appreciate it. I think you'll appreciate it as well. Well, let's get on to John MacArthur. MacArthur shows up and makes this announcement. Not only did he show up, but he made an announcement. Let's see what announcement he had to make.
All right, gentlemen, we're in for a treat. We have the chancellor in the house, so welcome. Welcome Dr. MacArthur in for a conversation to kick off the seminary year.
I think this was Wednesday.
As Nathan already has, welcome to the new guys. We have guys from all over the world that have joined us to commence their seminary studies, and you've been out of the pulpit for a few weeks, and so it's good to see you. Maybe an update. We all are just, we're glad you're here, MacArthur.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Excuse me. One of the things you find out pretty soon when you get into preaching is that if you don't preach regularly, you kind of lose your voice. It's a muscle that needs to be used. So preach as often as you can. When you don't, you start sounding like an old man. It's not good. I am not under any illusions about my mortality. So I don't know how much time the Lord is going to give me. Far better to depart and be with Christ, but if it's more needful to be here, I'm incredibly blessed to be here. I've gone through some heart procedures. As you know, the latest one was a valve replacement, which was highly successful. But like anything, you got a brand new valve in a very old person. So there are some compensating issues that have to be dealt with, and I'm sort of in the throes of those. I'm going from one doctor to another doctor. They're trying to see what replacement parts they can come up with. to keep me going. So, but I feel fine. I just have lost a lot of strength, and still having difficulty with my breathing, and that's likely because the rest of my organs aren't functioning at the level that they should to get rid of fluid, and so you start building up fluid internally. So that makes me short of breath. So that's the latest version of John MacArthur. It's all very new to me because I've been like a war horse, just going without stopping until this latest procedure.
Yeah.
So that's the most detailed health update. Now he's going to move on with that announcement, I think, here pretty soon. But an awful lot that he's been going through. But he's back. He's looking strong. He said that he could sit there, and he said he's not quite ready to preach. He said at some point in that Q&A session, but he could sit there kind of with a brain fog and answer some questions. That's how he worded it. So, but let's continue.
Even the earlier ones a year and a half ago didn't slow me down like this latest one did. So you're all in good hands, though. I'm sure of that. And this is a time when you rejoice in all that the Lord has done. And I've literally been overwhelmed with grace upon grace, incalculable grace. By no means is the least of that this very meeting today with all of you guys here. This is the pinnacle of ministry for me. The predominant dream that I had over, beyond just preaching and shepherding, was to be able to raise up a generation of godly men, and the Lord's continued to let us do that. So as long as He wants me around, I'll do what I can do to help. At this point, I don't have the strength to do a couple of Sunday morning sermons, but I think I can sit in this chair and fight off brain fog long enough to answer some questions. Yeah, one of the things that you get to in this age, and doctors keep asking me, do you have brain fog? And my answer is, ask somebody who knows me. Because if I have brain fog, I'm not going to know how to answer that question. But so far, I'm grateful for the health that the Lord has continued to sustain me with. And I'm doing some physical things to stay strong. I want to do that. And I'm going to see another doctor tomorrow, see if we can deal with the fluid that has been building up inside of me. I've had two sessions where they literally aspirate fluid out from around the lung, around the kidneys, around the lungs, really. And both times it was 1.25 liters. So that's a lot of fluid buildup. Yeah. And that's probably because the body's not eliminating all of that. So figuring out how to make that work is the next challenge.
Well, Mac, we appreciate the update, even on the physical things, because I was talking to some new students this morning, and their testimonies and their presence here has so much to do with your ministry in their lives. And all of us have that same testimony. So you're in our prayers as you continue to recover and work back towards that pulpit.
Well, so that's the end of his complete, detailed health update. It's probably the most detailed that we've had at all around. And there, Austin Duncan is talking about the seminary students who he's speaking to. He's speaking to new seminary students and those who are returning for another year, another semester, and just giving some encouragement, talking about the necessity of seminary and the importance of seminary and all of those things. And that's a lot that was discussed. There was discussion about his times on CNN. There was a discussion about a number of different things that they had. But here we're going to get to the announcement pretty soon. Hey, put down in the comments how John MacArthur has impacted you. That's always interesting to read, and I'm sure that Grace to You comes by and reads that as well. I definitely take a look at those. Those are enjoyable to see. So let's continue on and hear about this announcement.
We'll give you as much time off as you need. That's the commitment. But we love you, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing what the Lord is doing in your life, and your testimony of God's grace in your life is a strong testimony of God's faithfulness. The other thing I know about you is you haven't been inactive either. Though recovering, you're always busy with things. So talk a little bit about what you've been working on. Most people would just lay there and cry. If it was me, I would lay and cry. But you've had a productive time, even in your recovery. So talk a little bit about some of the projects you're working on.
We want to do a series on the 5 points of Calvinism, TULIP. That would be a real tight, sort of classic preaching of those 5 doctrines. That would pull it all together. So I've been going through those 5 little booklets of, say, 80 or 90 pages, and we'll roll out one at a time over a period of 6 months or so. And when all 5 are done, we'll have a little box, and you can box them up, and it's kind of along the line of classic MacArthur preaching on the doctrines of grace. So that's a category to which we can add in the future.
Yeah.
So he goes on to talk about that more in the entire session, and I'll link that below as well if you'd like to go watch that. He talks about how he came to the conviction of what the Bible teaches regarding soteriology, the doctrine of salvation, and that he holds to a Calvinistic understanding of that. I do hold to that. I think it all starts with the sovereignty of God. When you believe that God is absolutely sovereign, then you do believe that. Now, regardless of what you think regarding Calvinism and TULIP, which is just shorthand for kind of the 5 points: the total depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, total depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistible grace, and perseverance of the saints. If you're familiar with that, those would be the 5 points of Calvinism, and I just think it all flows out of the sovereignty of God, because there seems to be such an attack on the sovereignty of God. Now, the sovereignty of God and man's responsibility, how that all works together, that's a whole nother teaching on its own. I'll definitely cover that sort of thing, so subscribe. I'm going to have some content on that. But you have to respect that he is saying, I've come to great conviction of this, and so we're going to release some booklets. Or are they going to be entire books? I'll have to listen to that again, but there's going to be some teaching on each and every one of those points individually on its own. That's the project that he's working on right now. So he's busy at work on that, and he went on to talk about commentaries also. There's a couple Old Testament commentaries. One is in Daniel. I forget where the other one is. So a lot going on there. We can continue to pray for him. He's certainly busy at work on that, and then getting ready to come back and preach. So there you go. That's the update. Sure to leave your comments below. Thanks for watching. Take a look around the channel. There's daily preaching and teaching on this channel. There's daily truth nuggets, which is a daily dose of truth for your daily transformation. That's sermon clips, devotionals, Bible studies, things of that sort. You get that every Monday through Friday, so subscribe. You get that completely free. And also free on this channel is the Truth Transforms podcast. And I do deal with doctrinal issues and sometimes even current event issues, or a lot of times current event issues, and how the Bible applies to that. It's all about promoting a biblical worldview. It's so important that we have a biblical worldview and view everything through the lens of Scripture. Well, you've been watching Truth Transforms, on a ministry of preaching for God's glory, and the goal of this ministry is to transform hearts and transform minds through the truth of God's Word. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet already, whether you're new or you've been watching this channel for some time. Really appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit that like button. That really helps to drive this out to reach more people, so please go ahead and do that. I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget the free gift. It's preachingforgodsglory.org/gift. That's all going to be down below. Also, all of those videos that I mentioned, there's a lot of stuff you can look through In fact, there's a lot of videos with John MacArthur, so I've got a link to a playlist with John MacArthur videos. You can dive on into that if you'd like as well. God bless you. I will see you in the next video when you click on a link down below.